All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to Skype session number 9. To be discussing Samira Khan's article, Big Ideas 2019, 5 Big Ideas and Social Impact. So this article talks about 5 important ideas that Samira states will shape the social impact space in the coming year. These 5 ideas include the growing roles of impact currency, behavioral science, youth-led movements, social impact and corporate policies, and female-led initiatives in both for-profit and nonprofit spaces.
In the first point specifically, what I found interesting was this article from the McKinsey article, and they talk a lot about social return on investments and what a role a mature impact economy would play in the impact space. So I would really like to hear a little bit more about this from Samira, like her thoughts about it, and what made her think that this would be the next big thing in 2019.
I can't speak to the McKinsey article itself. I haven't spoken to the sort of, the authors behind it, but in general, the idea is that there are a number of different ways in which investors, for-profits, and to some extent not-for-profits are trying to better articulate and their impact in quantitative terms. So in order to do so, they're using a number of different frameworks. At the highest level, you have the SDGs. And organizations are trying to figure out how their work maps to the SDGs and how they can articulate progress against it. There are organizations like the GIN that specifically work in the social impact investing or impact investing space. There's others like IATI. The Good Guide in the US has its own set of guidelines. So there's a number of different organizations that are trying to, for lack of better words, codify or standardize impact. And what this impact currency topic really is about is how do you take that codification and make it more standard across different industries, across different players, across different sectors to articulate impact against the same goals. So one thing we've noticed is that even if the frameworks are a little bit different and the standards are different, the themes tend to be similar. So how can we use, the data that underlies them as well as the expertise of different organizations to standardize them? And then when organizations articulate their impact, how could we potentially assign a score to them or assign some sort of a metric that allows investors and others to be able to compare and rank or rate impact and social impact oriented organizations? And the way I sort of think about it is, it would first obviously be implemented in very well-researched organizations that tend to be slower moving, and then come to the social enterprise space, just because social enterprises are dealing with some core operational and social issues, and they don't necessarily have time to invest into sort of impact measurement, but there might be some forward-looking ones who are doing so. So I would love to hear from you guys, either during the reflection period or otherwise, to what extent you see social entrepreneurs measuring their impact and whether or not they would be able to play in an impact economy like this, because I could be totally wrong. It could start bottoms up as well.
I was actually thinking about how logistically you would codify something. I think I used to work in global health, and so we flew a lot. And that's so many negative climate points for you. And so logistically, if you're looking at an organization that's in global health and you're looking at their impact, yes, they're, either doing malaria nets and I was working with HIV. How do you, how far would it go? Are we thinking, have there been frameworks that have kind of included, this is your climate impact as an organization, and then we're also going to look at the actual work that you do, and how do you balance those?
With quite a few refugee populations, and what's interesting from the bottom up or top down, on the bottom up side, there's certainly a lot of skills and resources and obviously wants and wherewithal, just a matter of not having the platform or way to go ahead and contribute. So it always, as a Scrum Master, I always think about, if you did a use case model where you can capture basically the need and build, up to it. And one thing that I wrote a while back was, like, for example, mine's more, the thing is migration, forced or otherwise, decouples families. So my goal is utilizing food as a way to make them whole again. But really, like, the bigger picture is helping feed a family while you help them learn, while people learn from their culture. And that's kind of that foodiepreneur model. So it's interesting because I think the hard part is literally capturing the needs at a ground level and trying to build up for it. It's an opinion, just an observation only. Thank you.